Well, hello.
Here we are. Happy WrestleMania Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that's exactly what you're here to hear us talk about. Night one of WWE's WrestleMania, Nick.
Austin
You
Hayes just hit a
excited
home
for
run.
tonight's card?
You'll see it in about 5 minutes.
There it is, Austin Hayes. Bomb.
Literally, like as soon as I hit go live.
I was like legitimately gonna pull up the WrestleMania like fight card for tonight and just start talking about that, since there's no real need to talk about this game today. But I guess if Austin Hayes wants to give us something to talk about, then he can give us something to talk about. He takes the first pitch from Matt Bowman deep into left field.
Former Reds legend, Matt Bowman.
Former Reds legend, Matt Bowman, makes it 9-6. Appreciate you all tuning in on your Saturday afternoon. Craig Sandlin, Nick Kirby, along with you, take through the last here in the inning. Gavin Lux up now for the Reds. Nick, how's your Saturday going?
Never been better. I you know what? I just Major League Baseball is so beautiful. You know, when it's a 6:40 start time, the game is over in an hour and 15 minutes. When it's 4 o'clock on a Saturday, I mean, I'm going to be here for 7 hours. Uh-oh. All right.
Are you that far ahead of me?
Yeah.
Gavin Lux put one in the seats too?
All right, I guess we're going to... Yeah, I don't know. No,
Hold on.
We're not syncing this yet. We need a little bit.
Let me see if I can fast forward any. Gavin Lux with a double off the wall in left center.
Did Mullins get hurt on that? He went in hard. Right into the hospital sign.
How am I so far behind if I'm streaming on FanDuel? Where are you? Oh, you're on the MLB app?
Yeah. Oh, you're actually like legit streaming?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm legal today.
Wow.
Legal this year.
Yeah, no, the MLB app is like ahead of everything. I'm actually watching on a browser on MLB TV, and it's always ahead. All right, we'll sync this.
The joys of Memphis being considered in market for the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, at least you're able to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
I got a mound visit going on right now.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna give you a weird time to tell me when you get there. When Gavin Lux puts his hands on his helmet.
He's holding his shirt right now.
Yeah.
Hands on the helmet.
Yep, there we go. It was pretty pronounced, right? I mean,
just adjusting his helmet a little bit.
Yeah, we should be.
Gives the nods. Nobody out.
Now they're on Espinal's. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Espinal
15,
up.
14,
Yep. All right.
13.
I have a T-Mobile ad overlay on my FanDuel Sports Network. No free ads. But first pitch is high, 84 mile an hour breaking ball.
You see it now, 15,
16, 15, 14. Yeah, so you're half a second ahead of me. Close enough.
Yeah, close enough to party. All right. No, it would be nice to at least make the Orioles bring in their closer, if anything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, make them work any more than they already have to. I mean, this is already their sixth pitcher on the night.
Yeah, they had him warming, I believe, and then
seventh pitcher on the night. Terry Francona would never.
All right, Reds, make me change the final score graphic for a fifth time here in the late
2-1 to Espinal. Espinal 1 for 4 on the day, single in the first, way outside from Bowman. 3-1. Nick, while we kill some time here, I don't know if you can feel my pain or not, but last night spent some time going through the summer camp schedule with my wife for my daughter. So
doing a few of those.
Yep.
When you work from home, it's not as painful when you work from home though to have some summer camps.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not gonna be responsible for her all day long. You think I'm a good dad or something? All right, that'll do it for Matt Bowman. They are, in fact, going to burn Felix Bautista in the ninth with a 4-run lead. He comes in, nobody out. Reds trail 9-5. Jake Fraley coming up. Did you do anything today? We had a little neighborhood Easter egg hunt this morning for the kids.
No,
And I took a nap.
My wife ran some errands. I just played some Mario Party with the kids.
There you go. Take that.
Yeah. All right. So we're at Fraley.
All right. So yeah, men on first and second. Reds trail 9. Is it 9-5 or 9-6, Nick?
9-5, 9-5.
9-5. Okay,
deck.
just making sure.
In the form of Jamer Candelario.
Can we get another first pitch ground out of him?
He's getting crushed today. Like, is this the first time he's been on base? Twice in a game all year?
Yeah, and then he got picked off. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Congrats. Yeah, Fraley, Candelario, Trevino due up for the Reds to face the Orioles closer Felix Bautista.
He's been pretty good this year, I believe. I think he might be perfect. Felix Bautista comes
on
in. Not perfect.
No. Only a 6th appearance on the season, 1 save, 5 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, a ERA of 3.60. Last outing was on Thursday against Cleveland. Went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit and 1 walk, struck out 2 in the effort. We'll see if the Reds can do any damage against the big righty here in the top of the 9th. 6'8", 285 pounds is Bautista.
Chase asking the hard-hitting questions in the chats. Who do I play in Mario Party? I usually just let my kids pick. Today they picked Mario himself. Usually they want me to be Mario or Luigi.
All right, Fraley stands in, lefty on righty. Felix Bautista with the first pitch, right down the middle, 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Fraley with that big home run earlier in the game, 3 walks. Starting to see the ball decently well is Jake Fraley. Ball in the dirt, 1-1. Did you say you play it on Wii? On what do you play it on? Switch.
Yeah.
Wii. Does anybody still play Wii?
I have one. I haven't played it in a while. What do you think of these combinations?
The all orange tops and bottoms?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. They do it every Saturday at home. I don't know.
I feel like Bautista wearing it. I like it with the long sleeve black under. I think it adds to it. It just was like a terrible day for the Reds to wear the red alternates.
Yeah, the red on orange matchup
really
is
kills it.
Yeah. This is like back when the NFL first came out with the Color Rush uniforms and they had the atrocious matchups on like Thursday Night Football every week. And then colorblind people started to complain because they couldn't tell the difference between the two teams. This is exactly that. Fraley strikes out at a ball in the dirt. No need to throw that one down. His first base is occupied. Jamer Candelario up now. 1 for 3 on the day. A walk and a double. Last time up. First pitch swinging. Fielder's choice out. First pitch from Bautista is inside 1-0.
I wonder.
Now, I know you've.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you've spent some time reviewing options for Reds uniforms. There's a guy on Twitter that you follow. I know that you've interacted with in the past, and I think actually had on the show before. If you could replace one set of Reds uniforms with another, which one would you replace, and what would you replace it with?
I'd replace it with all of them. I'd replace it all. I don't think any of them. Well, other than the City Connects. City Connects are good.
And those are going away next year anyway, right?
Are they? I don't keep up on.
I think so.
The uniforms per se. He had one that was like a red, like kind of big red machine, sort of like throwback but modernized. That I would love to have that. I would wear that every day. He also had like a white. I like the pinstripes a lot.
I don't know if you were. I mean, you must have been in Cincinnati at the time, I guess. But back in, I mean, I remember it. So it must have been the late 90s. Candelario ground ball to first base. O'Hearn will touch the bag for the second out of the inning. Lux and Espinal advanced to second and third. Reds are down to their last out.
There might be some interested parties that have Mr. Trevino over 1.5 hits. So this might be a very important AB to some folks out there in the universe.
Yep, Trevino doubled in the second. You probably remember this back in the late 90s. The Reds actually like held a fan vote for their uniform. And I specifically remember them printing out, or in the Cincinnati Inquirer, there being like images of each of the options. And it was the year when they had the gray cutoffs, I think, is what ended up winning. And I like seem to remember this whole thing about like a St. Bernard with the barrel around their neck. And I don't know exactly. Ooh, Trevino launched to the left. Oh, Laureano.
That's tough.
Nice snag to finish it. Orioles win it 9-5. Nick, let's do a show.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Boston. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatterberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McLain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Reds win. Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Reds fall 9-5 to the Baltimore Orioles on Saturday. Nick, how we doing, my friend, other than the outcome of that one?
Yeah, rough afternoon, long baseball game. A game that really you had no business ever being in, but you kind of hung around in it and kind of had some life and some chances and just weren't able to capitalize on it. One of those games that if you just had lost 7-2, like it felt like it was trending early, it probably would have felt a lot easier to swallow, but with some big chances late, kind of stung a little bit today.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. I don't know what it is, but this Reds team seems to struggle against pitchers making their debut. Again, another example of that today. Orioles going with young man Brandon Young making his MLB debut. And I don't know if it's just obviously lack of scouting reports on those guys or what it is, but it just seems that every time the Reds ball club for the last couple of years faced somebody that is either making their debut or is early on in their career that they struggle. So we'll get into it, though. We'll start it off as we always do with the box score recap. Hunter Greene back on the mound for the Reds at Camden Yards, going up against the Orioles and their 19th overall prospect, making his major league debut, Brandon Young. We picked this one up right away in the top of the first when the Reds combined for 4 singles, including an RBI from Gavin Lux. But Tyler O'Neill was able to gun down Austin Hayes at the plate for the third out of the inning, and the Reds were limited to a 1-0 lead. That lead would quickly evaporate as the Orioles' first 2 batters, Cedric Mullins and Gunnar Henderson, go back-to-back. Greene would also hit 2 batters in the inning, but escape with the Orioles leading 2-1. Jake Fraley didn't let that lead last long as he leads off the second inning with a solo shot of his own. The Reds would then regain the lead at 3-2 via back-to-back doubles from Jose Trevino and TJ Friedl. Baltimore got 2 doubles of their own in the bottom of the second from Ramon Urias and Gunnar Henderson to tie the game at 3. The Reds went down in order in the third, then Ramon Laureano into the game for an injured Heston Kjerstad hit a 2-run homer to put the Birds on top 5-3 in the bottom half of the inning. Hunter Greene only lasts 3 innings in this one and final line on the day, 5 earned runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The Reds got Fraley on to start the 6th. He'd later score on a bunt single from TJ Friedl to bring the Reds within 1 at 5-4. Carson Spires would hold the Orioles hitless for 2 innings before Ramon Laureano and Jordan Westburg combined to go back-to-back for the second time in the game for the Orioles, giving the Baltimore the lead at 7-4. They'd add 2 more in the 8th, making it 9-4. Reds get a home run from Austin Hayes to lead off the 9th, but fall 9-5 and fall to 10-11 on the season. TJ Friedl on base 5 times, 4 for 4 with a walk. Jake Fraley with the home run, 1 for 2 and 3 walks on the day. Jeimer Candelario, 1 for 4 with a double and a walk.
All right,
it was a deep drive of the game. Nick, go ahead.
Sorry. Our deep drive of the day, Jake Fraley, 2 home runs in the last couple games. Hit a ball 107.2 off the bat, 429 feet. Tied the game at 2 at the time in the top of the second. Put the Reds win probability up to 50%. And as always, our deep drive of the day proudly sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks as always to our friends at DSC.
All right, Nick, you kind of mentioned it there. Let's start it off right off the bat. The Reds leave 13 on base in this one. A lot of missed chances, it felt like. A lot of opportunities that fell by the wayside.
It's a weird game. I don't know. I mean, I don't like to be the guy that is too critical of individual at-bats in a game because baseball is incredibly hard. And, you know, it's fine to be critical. Like I know the famous now Trace rant of the Candelario at-bat in the 10th inning when he just had an atrocious at-bat. Like that's one thing. I didn't see any at-bats today that really felt like that. I mean, they just, you know, Matt McLain bounced into a double play. It happens. Santiago Espinal couldn't come through. He's been as good as you could possibly want out of Santiago Espinal. Jeimer Candelario is probably the one that gets crushed for swinging first pitch, but it was a strike. If Candelario rips that down the line, there's not a single person complaining about him, swinging on the first pitch. So I'd have an issue with that. The thing I have a bigger issue with is the thing no one's going to want to talk about today, and that's just the fact that the Reds left two lefties bat in the 8th inning, or the 7th inning, whatever the hell inning it was, with the tying run on second base, got bailed out because the Orioles lefties walked two left-handed batters that are atrocious against left-handed pitching. But it didn't bite them, so we don't talk about that today. We only talk about the things that didn't go the Reds' way, or the things, the at-bats where they didn't come through. So it's, again, just a spot where there's things that I don't like, but it's not the things that are actually being, I guess, the biggest contributors to the losses.
Well, there were a number of moments that I wrote down that I think are worth talking about. I mentioned it right off the bat there. 13 men left on base. That's tough. Twice in this game, they left men with the bases loaded. Santiago Espinal flies out to end the inning in the 5th inning after the Orioles had walked to the bases loaded. And then the moment that you're talking about in the 7th, who was it? It was Gregory Soto, who on his career averages over 4.5 walks per 9, had walked 2 in the inning already. Jeimer Candelario comes up. It's after a mound visit. To your point, he's probably looking first pitch, fastball, something he can drive. Gets a ball down in the zone, tops it, fielder's choice, ends the inning. Just 2 big moments there that the Reds couldn't capitalize on, and 6 of the 13 men that they left on base in those 2 innings. The other moment that I wrote down that, again, we do this a lot. We kind of pick on J.R. House, it feels like. But I want to go all the way back to the 1st inning. You've got Brandon Young making his MLB debut. You've got 4 singles on the inning already. And he decides to send Austin Hayes against Tyler O'Neill, who we all know has a gun in right field. He has a great arm. He has for years. It's very well known that he has a good arm. Now, does it take a good throw to get Austin Hayes in that moment? Sure. Was the throw great? Yes, absolutely. But it beat him by feet, multiple feet. And again, back to my original point, you had 4 hits on the inning already against a young guy making his first start in the MLB. That felt like, now granted, they came back and led off the next inning with a home run, but that felt like a big moment where, again, you're kind of killing momentum by making that decision. And it's tough with 2 outs. What do you try and be aggressive and do that? But I don't know. Do you have any opinion on that specific decision by J.R. House to send Austin Hayes against Tyler O'Neill?
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill has a great arm, but he doesn't have an accurate arm. So his throws are not always right on the money. Today was right on the money. So again, it's a play that looks bad, I guess, if you look at it from that regard. I don't know. I didn't have a huge issue with that. The whole hitting with runners in scoring position thing, it always gets so overblown when you don't come through. I believe I saw a tweet earlier today. The Reds lead Major League Baseball at average with runners in scoring position, which is ridiculous because this team is nowhere close to the best team in baseball, but they, for whatever reason, had hit with runners in scoring position. And it's almost like the baseball god smiled down and said, hey, you guys aren't this good. We're going to let you get, how many runners did they get on base today? 22? 22? It's like the baseball god smiled down and said, you're not this good. You're going to have the worst game you can have with runners in scoring position. So I don't know. A lot of that stuff evens out. I mean, it's encouraging. The Reds had 22 base runners. Could you imagine, Craig, me telling you a week and a half ago, hey, the Reds are going to have 22 base runners in a game against the Baltimore Orioles next week? You would have laughed at me. You would have said that's insanity.
Well, what if I follow that up and I tell you that Hunter Greene's going to be on the mound for the Reds in that same game, and you're going to start the game with 4 hits in the first inning, and it's the sport that we love, Nick. The sport that we love, and speaking of Hunter Greene, not his best outing by far today, Nick. Felt to me like the command was not there early on. Obviously gives up those 2 home runs to start the game. That doesn't help. Cedric Mullins is on an absolute tear right now. So, I'm not going to fault anybody for giving up a home run to Cedric Mullins, who now has, I think, 7 on the season as a leadoff guy. But again, to your point, if you tell me that you've got 22 guys on base in a game that Hunter Greene is starting and that you score 5 runs, typically going to feel pretty good about it. But Hunter just didn't seem to have it today.
Yeah, and I think the Cowboy really actually walked through what his thoughts were, was that he just thought Hunter Greene was tired, which I think is the most logical thing. I mean, Hunter Greene went 7, 8 1/3, and 7 in 3 consecutive starts in April. Starts 2, 3, and 4 of the season. You're not usually built up to that level. I'm not faulting anyone for him pitching that deep because, I mean, the Reds kind of needed that probably at that point. But unfortunately, this is going to be sometimes the back end of that. So I don't know. It is what it is. This is his first clunker in months. I mean, dating back into last season, I think it was like before the All-Star game he had to start this bad. So, it just you chalk it up. It wasn't his day. You move on. He's great. He's going to be great. But today just wasn't his day, and it's a weird season because the Reds, lost a bunch of starts from Hunter Greene earlier in the year where, I mean, you put up 5 runs, you win those games running away.
Yeah, he's going to have a chance next weekend to bounce back. Most likely, I would imagine, starts Friday at Colorado. Colorado, as you know, with one of the worst offenses in MLB history. So certainly an opportunity for him to have a bounce back performance. But the thing, obviously, that we talk about with Hunter Greene is that splitter all year has been basically unhittable. Today, that wasn't the case. Below average vertical break on that splitter today. He only threw it 9 times, but Orioles seemed to be able to tee off on it when they did. So just not his day, and hopefully he can bounce back.
It felt like the Orioles had a good game plan against him too. It felt like they had something they scouted, and sometimes you have to give the opponent credit. I mean, this is a Baltimore Orioles team that won 101 in 92 games the last 2 years. This is a really good team that's come out of the gate slow. They had a good day against a great pitcher. It happens. You move on. There's not really a whole lot more to make about it other than that. I wish I had something insightful for you other than I think he was tired. He only threw 77 pitches today. That'll hopefully give him a little bit more rest, and hopefully he comes up and shoves the next time he takes the ball.
Yeah, not very often that Hunter Greene's going to give up 9 hard hit balls in a game, especially in a game where he only goes 3 innings. Just didn't have it today, and kind of tip your cap to the Orioles. It felt like they were aggressive early in the count, going after that fastball, and then once he did go to the slider and the secondary pitches, they ended up teeing off on that too. So tip your cap to them. They were aggressive all day, had a lot of good at bats, and obviously worked out in their favor offensively. Game time, Nick. The Reds are on the road all next week, but back in Cincinnati the following week to close out April. If people want to get their tickets, where's the best place?
Yeah, Game Time is the best spot for last-minute tickets. If you're like myself, I always wait till the last minute to go out and purchase my tickets. They always have great deals, literally all the way up to first pitch. So be sure to check out the Game Time app. They have all-in pricing. It shows you the total with fees before you check out. Panoramic seat views in the app. See exactly where you're going to be located at, everything around you. Event cancellation protection, automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled. And as always, the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CBox for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CBox, CBOX, for $20 off. And we also remind you...
That's right, and
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were doing this one or me. Are you doing it?
I mean, you had asked me to do it in the past. I just assumed we'd keep it the same, Nick. But if you wanna go ahead, please. I mean,
all right. I'll do it. I guess I get paid to do this. So, all right. We also want to remind you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
All right, Nick. Fraley and Friedel. We talked about it, obviously, in the box score recap. Both of them really good days. Both of them seemingly coming alive. I mean, this was two guys that had been struggling. Jake Fraley, 4 balls over 105 miles an hour in the last 4 days. Hit the 107.2 mile an hour, 429-foot home run today. On base 4 times, walked 3 times. It's good to see Jake kind of hitting the ball hard again.
Yeah, I mean, this was a guy that I think there was all the reason in the world to be concerned about him up until a couple days ago. Had 5 home runs in the previous 155 games entering Thursday. Came into spring training, had 2 extra base hits all of spring training. One of those was a home run that was like a wall scraper home run, just barely got out. So I don't know what clicked that all of a sudden he's hitting the ball hard, hitting the ball with authority. Today's home run was an absolute bomb. I certainly hope he's back because, man, this team desperately needs a guy that can just absolutely mash right-handed pitching. Jake Fraley was the Reds' best hitter against right-handed pitching back in 2023 up until he got hurt at the end of the year, and really for probably a lot of 2022. So I don't know. I'm not going to go too overboard about the last couple of days, but the last couple of days have been spectacular, and he's looked like a completely different player.
Yeah, that's the toughest part is how excited should we get about Jake Fraley and his new power resurgence, right? It's because in reality, it's been well over a year since we've really seen this kind of power from Jake Fraley. So, yeah, is it great to see 107 mile an hour off the bat today? Is it great to see it a couple times over the last 4 days? Absolutely. I'd love to believe that Jake Fraley's back and this is what we're going to expect from him for the rest of the year, because that would be a huge boost to this lineup, especially towards the bottom of the lineup, for him to be able to have power and to be able to turn the lineup over. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess is the best way to put it, right? Because at the end of the day, I just want to see it for an elongated period of time. And hopefully we'll get that. But the important part is, you know, again, the 3 walks tells me that he's seeing the ball pretty well. There are others on this team who are swinging at balls that bounce at 54 feet that are very clearly not seeing the ball well. So for Jake Fraley to be seeing the ball well, walk 3 times along with the home run, good sign. TJ Friedel, in addition to Jake Fraley, on base today 5 times, 4 for 4, 2 RBIs, including that bunt single that he got there late in the game. I am so torn on what I want to see from TJ Friedel, because I really we haven't seen him be a really good leadoff hitter in the past in terms of getting on base and just being that guy that's on base for guys like Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz. Would I love for him to be that guy? Yeah, but I also like TJ Friedel, who's willing to pull fly balls, you know, and hit some balls out of the ballpark every once in a while. Being able to drop the bunt down here and there when it makes sense, certainly a nice weapon to his repertoire. But what is the ideal TJ Friedel for this ball club today and going forward?
Like, a lot of it depends if he really is this slow. I mean, with all due respect to him, I mean, if he's 28th percentile in sprint speed, it's going to be pretty hard to be the TJ Friedel, you know, bunting guy that you know, tries to leg out singles and all that. He's going to have to be the guy that pulls home runs to have any sort of value. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's 2 years now where he's looking like his speed is just completely zapped. Now, he's looked pretty good in the field so far this year, so I'll give him credit for that. He doesn't seem like that's really hurting him. I mean, for incredibly small sample, I hate putting a lot of stock in small samples defensively, but he is plus 2 outs above average. And to be plus 2 outs above average playing center field as one of the slower runners probably in all the outfield, not just center field, it's actually pretty remarkable. So I don't know. You're probably going to see the pool, but I love that bunt today. I mean, that was a fantastic bunt. That was a big play in the game that, you know, if the guys behind him could have came through, would have been a huge moment and would have really kind of would have been one of the biggest reasons the Reds won this game. So I don't know. I think he probably has to hit home runs though, and it's just like I think TJ Friedl, as he is, can be a perfectly fine, low-cost center fielder that hits ninth. But you're going to have to see more of the guy that hits 15, 20 home runs if he's going to be at the top of the lineup, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't know that I don't know. It's interesting because Terry Francona, we heard from John Sadak today. Terry Francona told TJ Friedl he wants him getting on base twice a game. And I don't have any problem with TJ Friedl getting on base twice a game. I'm not opposed to that, obviously. But if that means he's bunting once a game and he's just kind of slapping the ball around the field, I don't know how much value that really brings, to your point. But I guess the concern that we had for the first 15 or so games of the year was that too often was Elly De La Cruz coming out with nobody on and 2 outs in the inning. Too often was Matt McLain coming on with 1 out and nobody on in the inning. So I guess from that perspective, I'd much rather him just get on base and be on base for guys like Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz to be able to knock in versus the alternative where he was, swinging and not getting on base 90% of the time. So I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. I guess a lot of it just kind of depends on how consistently he can do what he did today. Nobody's going to expect 4 hits and getting on base 5 times a game out of him, but if he can do what Terry Francona is looking for and getting on base a couple times a game and providing that opportunity for Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz to do damage, then I'm all for that. But the other option, of course, as always, is moving Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz up in the lineup and moving Friedl all the way down to 8th or 9th, like you had mentioned. So I don't know. I saw some people on social media today saying that they didn't like the bunt. Yeah, you can bunt and you can score a run, or you can get a base hit and score 2. Do the math. I don't know. At that point in the game, you're down 2. You've got 1 out in the inning. You get on base, you score a run, and you still have an opportunity for Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz to do damage behind you. Sounds like you're on board with the idea of TJ Friedl bunting in that position, though.
And he got on base.
Well, I know that this is what we do, though, right? We always do this. We have to talk. There's the result, and then there's how you got there. So yes,
sure,
you got on
but
base. But
I would have
like
been the bunt was also an attempt to get on base. It wasn't a
100%.
If it would have been a 100% straight sacrifice, I'm with that crowd. I would not agree. I don't think that the math checks out on that. But you have to calculate in the equation that he had a legitimate chance of getting on base, which he did get on base. So even if they would have made a bang play, I wouldn't have had an issue with it because he again had a chance to get on base, chance to create some havoc there, and he has Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz behind him. So again, I would rather just have Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz beat the guys up and they'll then be swinging away. But in that spot, I don't know. I don't have any sort of issue with that whatsoever. I thought it was a good play by Friedl. It worked out, gave this team a really good chance to come back and win. Unfortunately, the guys behind Matt McLain just didn't come through in that one individual spot.
Yep. You took it off of here, but let's go ahead and ask the question anyway. Reds decide to go with Carson Spires there late in the game. Spires had originally been scheduled to make a spot start tomorrow. Obviously, that is not the case now. Ends up pitching 4 innings today. I'm looking to see. I haven't seen any announcement or reporting on who will start the game for tomorrow. But let's just start with the question of the decision to go to Carson Spires there. Obviously, the bullpen had been used somewhat heavily over the last couple games. Did that feel like a moment to you where it made sense to turn to Carson Spires and basically not have anybody available for tomorrow? Yesterday, only Scott Barlow threw 27 pitches and Diaz threw 15. Nobody else threw any. Graham Ashcraft threw 29 on Thursday. I I would imagine, given the fact that they were able to save the rest of the bullpen, that they'll probably just go with the bullpen game tomorrow. But your thoughts on Carson Spires getting the long reliever role today?
Yeah, I didn't have any sort of issue with it. I mean, 29 pitches is a lot for Graham Ashcraft. Also threw 15 on Tuesday. So he's kind of totaling up a lot in his first real stint as a reliever. Santillan threw 25 pitches on Thursday. And I think you just have a lot more guys that you feel fresh about. Again, we also don't know which guys showed up to the ballpark today and they were either unavailable or they really they wanted to avoid pitching. Because a lot of times the relievers, they make some sort of document and say, hey, this guy can go, but we really don't want to use him because, man, it's really pushing him. And there might have been a full roster of that today. So, I don't know what the Reds are going to do. I really thought Lyon Richardson would be the guy. It felt like, that would make sense. He can give you multiple innings. He's on the 40-man roster, but he pitched in Louisville today. So I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get to Pat Kelly in time. Maybe they were thinking that. I don't know. They were in Columbus. But my guess is they call up a reliever tomorrow. I'm also not, this is weird, I'm also not 100% sure. Are you able to replace the replacement for a guy on the paternity if he doesn't get hurt? Have you ever seen a paternity replacement have to get replaced?
I mean, I guess the paternity list is similar to the injured list, right? I mean, he's on the list, and what you do with that spot is what you do with that spot. I don't think it has to be a 1-for-1 replacement, right?
I don't know. I've never seen it though. So something I've never seen, I'm not going to just say it's a guarantee. I'm assuming you can replace him, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I would assume
that was something else that was thrown around was, does Nick Lodolo feel like he's ready to come back tomorrow? Do him and his family, after welcoming their first child on Thursday, I believe, feel like he's able to come and pitch tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know if he's been doing bullpens in Cincinnati or what, but I did see some people speculating on social media that might be an option.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, they had already scheduled him on Monday, so doesn't seem likely. I mean, I don't know. I think someone in the chat just said they're doing a bullpen game, so I'm guessing it was officially reported. A guy like Yasver Zulueta probably gets called up. He's on the 40-man roster just as another option, especially if the game gets out of hand. You could have him. He can give you multiple innings. I would assume they'd bring someone up like that, but I mean, you also look at it from the standpoint of, all right, could you get two innings out of Graham Ashcraft? Could you get 2, maybe 3 innings out of Brent Suter? And could you get maybe an inning and a third, 2 innings out of Tony Santillan? Is that better than Carson Spires? Like, I like Carson Spires a lot, but I'm not sure the trade-off is all that bad. And if you really saw the benefit for those guys getting an extra day and pushing them back and trying to do it today or do it on Sunday versus today, then yeah, I don't really find that an issue. But I mean, it will definitely be, if you do go all out on this, it does put a lot of pressure on Nick Lodolo on Monday. Coming back, I would imagine having to it's one thing for a position player to miss 3 days, on the paternity list and have to come back and jump into the lineup. But for a pitcher that has been in the hospital, out of the routine, it's got to be really tough to just go throw in Miami on the road too. They're not in Cincinnati. It's all the way down in Miami. So that's the only thing that I'm a little concerned about. I think I'm more concerned about Nick Lodolo on Monday just because of the kind of difficult spot that he's kind of put in, and being put in a spot where he kind of has to give innings because you're going to use a bunch of guys on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, the question becomes, you have guys in this Reds bullpen like Brent Suter, who have been historically your long guys. We talked earlier this season about Graham Ashcraft being available as a long reliever kind of guy, given his history of being a starter. So maybe those two guys can combine to give you 5 or 6 innings, and you're able to save the rest of the bullpen at least as much as possible. You bring up a guy like Yasver Zulueta to give you an inning or 2. Maybe that's an issue or an option. It'll be interesting to see. I don't see any formal reporting, Nick, on the plans for tomorrow just yet. Keep an eye out for that. And if we get anything before the end of the show, we'll certainly be able to pass it along to you watching. But as of right now, I don't see anything, and I'm sure Nick will update the what's up.
I would like to start a lefty tomorrow. I feel like that would mess up the Orioles lineup a little bit more. They have a lot of lefties in their lineup, so I would definitely like Brent Suter, even though Suter doesn't have like the big lefty splits. I don't know if Rogers could start. I think Rogers starting would be a very interesting way to kind of start the game. I love anything that just has to throw the opponent off. That has to make the opponent think a little bit about how they want to use their lineup. So I would like to use a lefty. I would love to go maybe Rogers, Ashcraft, then go back to Suter. I think that could be a good kind of way to do it. But, I mean, look, the Reds have a good chance tomorrow. I mean, nothing's ever given, and Charlie Morton's probably due for a good start at some point, I would think. I mean, the guy is making $15 million from the Orioles. I mean, if you think the Jeimer Candelario contract's bad, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. I mean,
Easy.
Charlie Morton is making $15 million, 0-4 with an 8.84 ERA. So I don't know. Maybe he's due. 41 years old, second oldest player in baseball behind Justin Verlander. So the Reds have got to see both of the two oldest players in baseball here in the month of April. Morton relies on 5 pitches, curveball, four-seamer, sinker, and cutter. Career 4.01 ERA in 22 starts against the Reds. Jake Fraley's just 1 for 9. Steers 3 for 6. McLain 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. De La Cruz 0 for 5. Austin Hayes is 2 for 4. So what do you think about tomorrow against Uncle Charlie? Do you think this Reds offense can get going? Because Craig, I mean, the Reds offense has played pretty well. I mean, they put up 4 runs almost every game for the last week at least? Where are we at?
Well, as someone who owns the Baltimore Orioles in a franchise-style MLB fantasy league, I've been following them way closer than I ever would before this league, and can confirm that Charlie Morton has been disastrous so far, which means that he'll come out tomorrow and look like an absolute Cy Young award-winning pitcher like they normally do. That's just what happens with the Reds. It happens every year. It never fails. But on the flip side, it's been nice to have guys like Cedric Mullins who have been on an absolute tear. I saw somebody in the chat ask Nick, and so just a quick update. They asked about Wade Miley, given the situation. He is not on a rehab assignment just yet. It was reported just a couple of days ago on the 15th that he was scheduled to throw 3 innings in an extended spring training game on Tuesday, and then could potentially start a minor league rehab assignment after that, but I haven't heard an update since then. Rhett Lauder obviously did throw a bullpen this week as well on Tuesday, where he did get up and down to simulate game action. So it doesn't sound like Wade Miley or Rhett Lauder would be options at this point, but certainly guys to keep your eye on as we move forward in this season in terms of what it's going to look like with Nick Martinez and his struggles, and certainly Carson Spire's struggle today, if there is a need for more spot starts or otherwise. So it'll be interesting to see, but Wade Miley not ready just yet for the Reds. Nick, anything else on today or tomorrow that you want to get into before we get into Reds MILB?
Nope. I think we covered it all.
Let's do it.
All right, Reds MILB, we had 2 teams go final. Louisville, they beat Columbus 10-7. Benson 1 for 5. Tyler Callahan on base 5 times. I am a big Tyler Callahan fan. I would love to see him get a call up at some point. Reese Hines hit a home run today that was hit about 800 miles. It was spectacular. Luis May, he had a tough day. He gave up 4 walks. Zach Maxwell came in, got the job done to finish the game. Inning in the third, did give up 1 run, but he didn't walk anyone and struck out 2. And Lyon Richardson, the guy I was speculating on, was spectacular. 2 perfect innings from him. So a pretty good day from Zach Maxwell, from Lyon Richardson. And then Dayton, they went final. They lost 5-4 to Great Lakes. Tough start to the season for the Dragons. They're just 5-9. Adam Serwinowski, Reds number 12 prospect, gave up his first runs of the season. He had been really dominant through his first couple starts. Not terrible, though. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. Did strike out 4. So far through 3 starts, a 1.50 ERA, 12 innings, 13 Ks. Yerlin Confidant had a big day, 2 for 4 with a homer. Definitely one of the more talented players there. A lot of other guys, Ricky Cabrera and Leo Balcazar, had the day off. Couple games in action now. Chattanooga leads Knoxville 2-0 in the 4th, and Daytona trails Jupiter 4-1 in the 6th. Of course, as always, you can check out the Chatterbox Reds podcast, and I'll fill you in on everything that happens throughout the rest of that and any other nuggets I'm able to find.
Yep, and if you're listening to this podcast, for all we know, Nick's already updated it with who's going to start tomorrow and whatever the plans are for that. So as always, we encourage you, even if you watch this stream, make sure you download the podcast tomorrow morning. Nick does a great job putting in clips from interviews and updating it with information as we have it available after MILB teams go final and as other announcements are made. We do appreciate you tuning in on this fine Saturday afternoon. WrestleMania Night 1 underway. 2 titles already switching hands. And I know everybody in the chat is excited about that. For Nick Kirby, I'm Craig Sandlin. This has been Chatterbox Reds. We appreciate you all. And as always, go Reds.